Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Linda, and I'm pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of watching on YouTube live or later and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message today comes from our minister, Reverend Cheryl Fair. And now here's Reverend Cheryl.
Thank you, Linda, and welcome everyone who is in the Zoom room with me right now. And those of you watching on YouTube, I invite you to come with us into the Zoom room if you're watching live, because we have lots that goes on after the message and meditation. But if you're watching now or you're watching later, either way, I appreciate you showing up and being a part of the energy that is Unity of Fredericksburg. Our broadcast date today is September 21st, 2025. And today our focus is the power of life, which is one of our 12 powers. We are finishing up this month, finishing up the third quarter of 2025. We've been focusing on Unity's 12 powers, one per Sunday. The 12 powers is what I call a study set that was developed by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore. It's a set of divine qualities that are inherent in each and every one of us. So the more we understand them, the more we can use them to help manage our own lives and our own consciousness. So today we have a special treat. We have a live readers theater performance. So our Zoom host, Jason, is going to be clicking away here to introduce you to our two actors who are Linda and Judy. So he's going to be spotlighting them on our screen. So audience members, I want you to imagine. Your imagination is part of this. So I want you to imagine that we're sitting in a cozy little performance space. You're in the audience, and Judy and Linda, they come on stage. They're sitting in chairs facing the audience. They're just sitting there, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, Judy.
Yes, Linda.
What are you up to?
Sitting?
Me too. But, well, I was thinking about getting up.
Good luck with that. Getting up is overrated.
Oh,
Believe me, I tried it once. It did not go well.
oh. It's just that I have this funny feeling.
Oh, I'm sure they make a cream for that.
It's like this energy humming beneath my skin.
Yeah, they make a cream for that too.
Oh, no, not like that, silly. It's like no matter how down I get, my very being just wants to get up and do things.
Ugh, not me. I'm staying right here.
Well, haven't you ever noticed, though, how no matter how harsh the winter might be, spring just comes bursting out all over the place? That's what it feels like.
But if you want to get up, that's fine. Not me. I'm too tired. If I had a time machine, I'd use it to just go back to bed.
But have you ever seen photos of what happens after a forest fire? It can be total devastation, but within days, new life starts popping up.
Well, how about you pop up and take yourself off then?
Come on, Judy, don't you know what I mean? It's like life is this dynamic force beating my heart and breathing my lungs without me having to do a thing.
Oh, there you have it. I don't want to have to do a thing.
But I have this notion.
Here we go.
I have this idea that if I put my mind to directing this force, I could do amazing things. Look how much it does without me lifting a finger. What would happen if I really paid attention? I mean, if I could energize all my affairs with this life energy, imagine all things I could accomplish.
If you get up, you might get in an accident, have your heart broken, get lost, catch a virus, lose all your money, or you might have to talk to someone you don't like. Oh, wait. Apparently that can happen when you're sitting too.
Don't be silly. I know you like me. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm getting up.
Oh, here she goes. Oh, go ahead. Come on, give her some love. You know you want to.
All right, all right. I know you all are feeling the love. Everyone is applauding, applauding. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for some fun time with Readers Theater. So they pretty much covered everything. I don't know what I'm going to do, but let's go onward, shall we? We're going to talk about what is the power of life. I'm going to start by reading a quote from this wonderful book, Divine Audacity, by the Reverend Linda Martella Whitsett. And let's see what she has to say about the power of life. Life is of divine origin. Life is eternal and indestructible, in keeping with the first law of thermodynamics. That being, energy cannot be created or destroyed, although invisible and non-material evidence of life can be sensed. So I think that's a good starting point, because what is life? Life is energy, right? And we have lots of different words that we use for the divine. That which we call God is, in essence, energy. It is life. And of course, we experience that energy at the point of us, right? We know it's everywhere and it's within us too. Now, we can't see it, but we can see evidence of it, right? And we can feel it. So in Divine Audacity, Linda Martella Whitsett, she explores life as animation, vitality, and presence. She says presence is vibrational evidence of life. So I'm a theater kid. I spent more than 35 years working in theater, and we would talk about someone having stage presence. Or we are heading into an election cycle. We want our leaders to be someone who has presence, right? And what is presence? Presence is that energy of bringing life and intention to the moment or to the issues or to whatever it is that's going on. So that's actually several ways of looking at the power of life. Another reference we've been using frequently the past few months is power up. by the Reverend Doctors Paul Hasselbeck and Cher Holton. Now, they define the power of life, and they define all of these powers as abilities, accelerated abilities that we all have. So they say life is the ability to energize, vitalize, enliven, make whole. So they do refer to a quote from Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder. So let's see, they have pulled this quote from the Revealing Word. So here's the words of Fillmore defining the power of life. Life is divine, spiritual, and its source is God, Spirit. The river of life is within us in our spiritual consciousness. We come into consciousness of the river of life through the quickening of spirit. We can be truly quickened with new life and vitalized in mind and body only by consciously contacting spirit. This contact is made through prayer, meditation, and good works. There we go, friends. There's that wonderful equation for how to do life, right? Prayer, meditation, and good works. So by good works, what we are doing is bringing our ideas, giving them life, right? Giving them that energy of our attention and focus, putting feet to our faith. Here's another little bit from Power Up, that from our authors. They say, have you ever used the phrase breathe life into a project? It means we give it an energy, a force that generates excitement and results. We can also breathe life into the thoughts, feelings, ideas, and beliefs we hold. So that all sounds good, right? And yet we all know that we've experienced those moments where we're not feeling very lively, right? Where for whatever reason, this is not coming naturally to us, this enlivening, invigorating kind of energy. So I'm juggling the books here this morning, my friends. So here is a quote also from Charles Fillmore that is in Divine Audacity. This one is from the book Jesus Christ Heals. So here's Fillmore addressing this issue of when we're not feeling too lively. When we are not manifesting life as we desire, it is because our thoughts and our conversation are not in accord with the life idea. Every time we think life, speak life, rejoice in life, we are setting free and bringing into expression in ourselves more and more of the life idea. So, for those times, my friends, when you're feeling a bit down in the dumps, when you're not feeling that spark of life coming forth, we can use some of these practices that we learn in Unity. So we can practice a release. Here's a release for when you're not feeling that power of life. I give no power to limiting thoughts and feelings. I give no power to limiting thoughts and feelings. Now, I'm giving you a fairly generic release because you can then craft it to whatever it is your specific situation is. Then we follow that up after we've released something we don't want to hold in our consciousness anymore. We follow it up with an affirmation. We plant some good energy in our consciousness, right? So here's a follow-up affirmation. I claim my power of life to energize my affairs with joyful words and intentions. I'll say it one more time. I claim my power of life to energize my affairs with joyful words and intentions. Now, as we have gone through this journey of the 12 powers, we continually kind of talk about how the 12 powers work together, just like the organs in your body work together. They don't just work independently. So in the Power Up book, our authors mention, the ability of life is used to energize all of your other abilities. So when I activate my power of love with the power of life, right? I give it energy. I energize my power of faith with life. I bring my imagination to life with powerful words and intentions. Now, we do want to make one distinction. If we think back to the week when we were talking about the power of zeal, what's the difference between zeal and life? So I'm quoting again from the authors of Power Up. Zeal is the first stage of the rocket that gets off the launching pad. And then life is the second and even the third stage of the rocket to keep it going up into orbit. And of course, then we can just kind of keep playing out that scenario. The rocket, once it's up there, it's got some distance to go to do whatever it is that it's meant to do. So, and this is a scenario that symbolizes, of course, something in your life, a new project, a new something. And then how do you keep it going? Well, you're using your power of strength for endurance. You're using your power of power to speak truth into the situation and order to negotiate all of the little bumps in the road that always happen. You're feeding that power of love to keep you directed towards where you want to go, and faith. All of these things work together. And life is there kind of feeding the fire of each one of those other powers. So one of the essential parts of the power of life has to do with wholeness. So let me get my Power Up book again so that we can hear about this. Let me get to the right place. All right, here we go. Another very essential aspect of the ability of life is how it enlivens our mind and body to achieve health, wholeness, and vitality. When you feel a cold coming on, you can claim and speak your ability of life to every cell and atom of your being to manifest an energy that restores wholeness and health. Now, I do want to add a little caveat there that when we think of wholeness, we need to be careful to not be viewing it through our human, literal sort of interpretation, right? Because as Linda Martella Whitsett says in Divine Audacity, wholeness is not always obvious to our human senses. So wholeness is an attribute of our spiritual truth. It is always complete. We are always whole, no matter what our human lives might be showing. So the more as we go through physical challenges, relationship challenges, the more we associate our spiritual being with this complete, life-filled energy that we're calling wholeness, the more we can encourage our own healing process. And this works, my friends. I can tell you, this is how I have survived certain circumstances, is by the dedicated application of this particular thing, associating every cell of the body, every thought held in consciousness with wholeness, no matter what the appearances were in the outside world. It works. That's why I'm here to talk to you guys almost every Sunday, is because it works. I know it works. So when we're in those moments where we're really just seeing the appearances and going, but really, this is sad, this is broken, this is whatever, one of the consistent pieces of inspiration we can use is using nature as our guide. Let me give you a couple of examples. And our friends in the Reader's Theater, I mean, they've already shared this, but we're just going to take it a little bit deeper. I want you to think back to the year 2000. So when all of us here in the US were in lockdown. in March of 2000, April of 2000. There was the COVID pandemic going on. We didn't know what was safe, what didn't. We weren't supposed to go out of our house. If we went out of our house, we had to wear a mask, all of these things. And yet I remember right outside my window, springtime was erupting in glorious color. Nature was, no matter what the appearance and the circumstances, and do I have enough toilet paper and all the stuff going on, and what if I get the virus? Nature was going, look, life, life is happening, life is happening. And it was glorious. Another example having to do with nature, and again, they mentioned it in the Reader's Theater. This is something that I recall from my life in the 1980s. I'm trying to make this a short story. So I have some, my family roots go to the west of the US. In particular, my dad was born and raised in Wyoming. And so I've been out west a number of times. And after my husband and I got married, we took a long drive out to Wyoming and back to see family. And it was kind of our honeymoon trip. And we were in Yellowstone Park shortly after a devastating forest fire. So it was unreal. It was obviously safe enough for people to drive past, but just the level of desolation in this particular part of Yellowstone, just everything just burned, just black and burnt. And yet, when you took the time to look closely, the whole floor of the forest was blooming with wildflowers, beautiful wildflowers of other colors, because that devastation broke down into nutrients, and there were all these wonderful flowers. And so it's just another example of, no matter how dead things appear, this energy of life is showing us that it's there all the time. Life springs forth, and this is happening in your body all the time, right? You don't have to sit there and think about beating your heart. It's doing that. It knows that that's what its job is. You don't have to sit here and think about breathing. Your body knows what to do. The cells of your body know what to do. And most of the time, the cells of your body know how to heal themselves. If there's an interruption to the sense of physical wholeness, like I cut my finger, the cells of my finger know what to do to come back together. It just happens. It's expressing all the time. So these are all examples of how that power of life is all around us, that we can tap into it at those times when we're not feeling very lively. Our Unity co-founders also talk quite a bit about how we can intentionally guide this power of life with intelligence. So in the book, The 12 Powers, here it is, Charles Fillmore's book. Charles Fillmore says life itself is not intelligent. It requires the directive power of an entity that knows where and how to apply its force in order to get the best results. Interesting point. Best results. That's kind of a judgment call, isn't it? So there's your power of wisdom tying in with life. It's like, let's evaluate what is the best result for us. So as we work on healing in our lives, we are directing this power of life. We see it outside us, like, okay, it's happening. We see the flowers blooming. We go, okay, this energy is in me too. How can I direct that? And one of the most wonderful examples that I know of is from Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore in her healing process. So let me read from her real quick. Here's Myrtle talking about her healing process. Here is the key to my discovery. Life has to be guided by intelligence in making all forms. The same law works in my own body. Life is simply a form of energy and has to be guided and directed by intelligence. How do we communicate intelligence? By thinking and talking, of course. Then it flashed upon me that I might talk to the life in every part of my body and have it do just what I wanted. I began to teach my body and got marvelous results. So this is all about how we can use our intention, our affirmations, our releases to guide this power of life that we know is there. And we do have guidance on this from the Bible, from those of you who like to study the words of Jesus. So Charles Fillmore, he references this in his chapter on the power of life, the words of Jesus. So here's Fillmore saying, when Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life, he was telling of the power of the Christ mind to enter the mind and body of a person as quickening spirit, to awaken the whole consciousness to the knowledge of God. So what Jesus does for us and what the teachings of Jesus do for us is give us an example of how we can practice these principles that we're talking about. So how would it feel if you were to say, in a situation that you're dealing with in your life, I am the resurrection and the life? As you recover from an illness, as you begin a new phase, as you work through a difficult situation, as you encourage yourself to make the next best steps, I am the resurrection and the life. This is what the example of Jesus is showing us. One more quote from Divine Audacity, if I can find it here. Got so many quotes. Oh, and this is also, again, a Charles Fillmore quote. This one is from Keep a True Lent. The first step in the realization of life is always to know that God is life, abundant, omnipresent, eternal. And this second step is to make positive connection with God by declaring oneness with it. So this is where our key unity principles come in. We talk about the one presence and one power God is, and that divine spark is in me too. So I'm it. So I can affirm into whatever situation is going in my life, I am the power and the life. And the more we practice that connection, the more we can vitalize and energize aspects of our lives. So we're now going to start getting ready for meditation. I've got a little bit again from Divine Audacity to read to get us ready. Okay? Listen to this. Established in life, I appreciate the universal source of life. That which gives life to me is creativity. Therefore, I give life to everything that I am creating. That which gives life to me is abundance. Therefore, I steady myself in abundance consciousness, knowing all things are possible and living richly. That which gives life to me is compassion. Therefore, I embody kindness in every thought, word, and action toward others and myself. That which gives life to me is joy. Therefore, I live in the delight of every moment. So take a couple of deep breaths with that, my friends, as we settle into the seat, focusing on the breathing. We have been building on a practice, a meditation practice developed by Cora Fillmore, and we will continue that today. So focus now. Focus your energy on the crown of the head. If you like, you can take your hand, just put your hand right there, the top of the head. Sense of light there, pure white light. Not a white light devoid of color, but a white light that is like the rainbow, all coming together into a pure white light. And we affirm right there at the top of the head, divine nature is awakening in me. We're saying, wake up, love. Wake up to your divinity. Divine nature is awakening in me. Now shift your attention slightly down to the forehead. Again, you can place your fingers there, your hand there if you want. This is the seat of the power of understanding, where we tap into this divine nature, understand ourselves as divine, and affirm here, I am aware of divine nature awakening in me. I am aware of divine nature awakening in me. And as we continue to wake up, we allow this light to slowly drift down through the body, touching through all aspects of the body and energy fields. We're going to drop it down until this light comes gently to rest right in your lap, at your root chakra. Here in the sacred seat of the body, we experience the ebb and flow of letting go towards the back of the body and creating life anew in the front of the body. So focus your attention on the front side of your body, right in your lap. Sense that energy there as a brilliant, vibrant, rich red light. Feel that ruby red light as it pulses and energizes through every cell of the body. If you wish, place your hand there in your lap, and we're going to repeat this simple affirmation. Divine nature as life is awake within me. Say it with me, friends. Divine nature as life is awake within me. And we'll now move into a few moments in the stillness together. And we begin to bring our attention back to the present moment, back to the body, sitting gently, the breath in the body. And as we close out our time of meditation, I'm going to read to you from a book called This Life is Yours. This is an affirmation for life. I am in tune with the animating power of life. Every part of me, material and spiritual, is thrumming with life. I feel for flowing, pulsing, thrilling ideas, and I give life to them. I am running in life-producing, life-sustaining, and life-enhancing circles. Everything I give life to lives. I am a vital presence. The life I am contributes, blesses, encourages, inspires. And let's close our time of meditation with an affirmation. I'll say it once and then you can repeat it with me at home, okay? Here it is. I am a vibrant expression of divine life, and I am grateful. Say it with me, friends. I am a vibrant expression of divine life, and I am grateful. Want to do it one more time? One more time. I am a vibrant expression of divine life, and I am grateful. So I am, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to hand it back now to our friend, Linda Thornton.
Thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for